Welcome to the May 2018 GNU Radio project call. We have a couple of agenda items today, and I have a couple of experts who speak on individual matters in this in the studio with me. In the studio with me is Neil, and we have Nate and Mark also present. Yeah, so this is our monthly call. You can follow this on YouTube. You can watch it live. You can join the call, and you can even join the call right now. And then also we're going to monitor Slack and IRC for questions. And I'm going to quickly go over the agenda before we head into it. So we have Mark here who will be talking about documentation updates. Then we will have some announcements regarding GSOC, GRCon, and the French GNU Radio Days. And then for today, that's it. So this is going to probably be a very short call. All right, Mark, take it away. What's new with documentation?
Well, I'm currently leading an effort to reorganize the documentation that's not specific to a block or a function or a class. So stuff like tutorials or like pretty much most of the pages of the usage manual, like on PMTs and that kind of thing. The main problem right now is that it's split between Doxygen and the wiki and some other places. So it's not very great for new people. I'm sure GNU Radio veterans have no issues finding what they need, but newer people are not always sure where to look. I think it's important for the documentation to be tailored to newer people so that they have a good time using GNU Radio and can figure out what they need. So the big question is whether to keep using Doxygen and just move stuff from the wiki there, or to move it from Doxygen usage manual to the wiki. And there's no right answer. So I definitely want to get people's input. And I've created a page on the wiki about the reorganization. So if you just go to like recent changes, you can find it and add your comments. There's pros and cons for each one. One of the big pro for the Doxygen usage manual is that the functions and blocks and classes can be linked to the C++ API. So I'm curious how many people use that because a lot of those functions don't even have their doc strings filled out. So there's not much additional information once you click it. Anyway, and if anyone wants to help with this decision-making process, I'd be interested. I mean, the documentation is for all of us. It's not really a leader's thing. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks a lot. So, so Mark just approached us, said, "Hey, I wanna lead the documentation reorg." You know, that deserves a big round of applause already. So, you know, this is very good. And one thing to keep in mind, it's very hard unless you're a professional documentation writer to write documentation for beginners if you are not a beginner. So this is something that, you know, some of us have been using GNU Radio for 10 or more years. It's hard to sort of, you know, put yourself into the mindset of a beginner. So the more people, you know, help, I think the better we can make this. I guess, Mark, there is also, so you were saying like we can figure out if we put stuff on the wiki, we can also figure out if we put stuff in the manual. I guess what you also like, I was just assuming, maybe I'm assuming correctly, we can also just put stuff on both places, but then come up with a like clear guidelines what goes on the wiki and what goes in the manual.
Yeah. We need. Well, that'd be the very first step, is deciding what goes where. And I think it's pretty clear to everyone the stuff that's specific to a block or class is in the API in Doxygen. There's not much of that in the wiki, and it might as well stay there. But other stuff, like, well, there's tutorials, and that's kind of a separate thing. And then there's just kind of descriptions about topics like PMTs and stream tags. I don't know what exactly that's called. And that is definitely split between the wiki and Doxygen. And I think it makes sense to just kind of decide what goes where. And then we can shuffle everything around and remove redundancies and just improve the documentation as part of that.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to join this effort, and I think documentation is a good place. So even if you have a little amount of time, even if it's only 10 minutes, and you can say, I literally only have 10 minutes, one time, like we can find a task for you. And even if it's just like improving the documentation on an existing blog, for example, something like that. And of course, if you have more time than that, or maybe you have like 10 minutes every week or so, we can find tasks for you. So yeah, thanks a lot, Mark. This is super important. I think documentation is one of the key things that make a project successful or not. So I would argue this is probably more important effort than some of our sort of code restructurings that we're sort of got going on. Okay, thanks, Mark. I'm going to move on to the next topic. Let me pull up my agenda here, which I'm also sharing on my screen, in case you're wondering. Quick updates on GSOC. So as you know, GSOC is kicked off. We got 2 slots, and out of the applicants that we had, we selected 2. That's Swapnil and Luca. And you may remember Luca. He's actually reapplied, and we evaluated his application like any other. So there was no bonus for being already in like the last year, but it probably did give him a little bit of an advantage, as in what people are looking for. So Lucas will be working on MIMO stuff. So he has his blog, which I pulled up here. He even has his custom logo, and he's already started blogging. So this is really nice here. It's a good overview of MIMO, but then also what he intends to do. Milestones are public, so you can actually follow his work, and you can see whether or not he's actually into the plan. And so I don't know if everyone knows this, but people who get accepted into the GNU Radio org for GSOC are required to update their blogs or whatever it is at least once a week. And if they don't do that, they actually get penalty points, because we have to be very strict about maintaining sort of a high quality of what's the word I'm looking for? Communication, yeah, and also commitment. So the other student, Swapnil, is working on GR he has also started blogging. GR I really like it when people volunteer to work on sort of the GUI, it's the user interface elements of GNU Radio rather than the signal processing, because a tool like GR like literally everyone uses. If you build the best, I don't know, OFDM equalizer in the world, like still fewer people will be using that. So projects like this are incredibly useful to sort of further the utility of GNU Radio and make it more accessible to beginners. I'm very happy. Please follow those students. They are also on the mailing list. You can ask them questions, and then they will also be asking questions. And I'd really appreciate it if people stepped up and gave them some guidance. Of course, we have mentors, Felix and Nicholas in this case, and I really want to thank those as well. Mentoring is a decent amount of work, so volunteering to do that is not something that comes lightly. And we really want to thank everyone involved in GSOC. And Felix, of course, has been the org admin for this year, so he made sure that we actually got accepted into the program. He sort of led the selection process and all of that. So yeah, I want to thank all of those people. But first, like most of all, I want to thumbs up to the students. I just want to wish you good luck and sort of good progress for GSOC. Okay, that's GSOC. We of course have our GNU Radio conference coming up in September, so I've invited my local expert Neil to me into the studio to talk about GRCon.
Okay, thanks, Martin. Yeah, so GRCon is on track for September 17 to 22 in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Henderson Convention Center. Right now, the early bird tickets are available and on sale. The early bird rate is $400, and it'll go until June 30th. So get your tickets now while they are at the cheapest price they can be. After June 30, starting July 1st, the ticket prices will go up to $550. So register now while the price is at its lowest point, please. Hope everyone can attend the conference. Vegas is an easy city to get to. There's lots of flights. Hotels are inexpensive. So hopefully you can make it. We also have opened the call for papers. So that includes talks, workshops, as well as sponsorship. So if you're interested in any of those kinds of participation, please register and let us know. The call for papers or call for participation ends on June 3rd. There'll be some more information around that coming up, so stay tuned. We'll put that on the GNU Radio website as well as on the GNU Radio IRC channel. But if you have any interest in giving a talk and presenting a paper or a workshop, which is a longer form, usually 1, 2, or 3 hours, or becoming a sponsor, please let us know. And I think that's all for announcements for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil. Okay, final update. French GNU Radio Days are coming up in France, and I think, Nate, you wanted to say something about this.
Yeah, just wanted to remind everybody. Have to mute your mic. I just wanted to remind everybody that the French GNU Radio Days are coming up on June 2nd to 3rd in Lyon, France. There's going to be talks and presentations, and along with poster boards on the topics of cognitive radio and digital comms, radar systems, SDRs, highlighting GNU Radio. I encourage everybody to, if you're in the area, to attend it. They already have a very well put together tutorial that has many GNU Radio, both beginner and advanced level participation. So it should be a great event. I'll go ahead and that's June 2nd and 3rd in Lyon, France. Martin, you'll need to unmute your mic.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Nate.
Should we mention you have to be a French speaker?
Is the language of the French GNU Radio Days in French, or is it in English? Or is it both?
Yeah, my understanding, just for those on the call who have a question on this topic, although it's the French GNU Radio Days, my understanding is they're going to be doing most of everything in English. Some people will elect to do the talks in French, but I think they're asking people to do everything in English. So if you don't speak French, that's okay. You can still attend the event and get something out of it.
Even if it's just traveling to Lyon. All right, those are all the agenda items. Any last minute items that I forgot? Looks like no. I'm gonna stop screen sharing in that case. Okay, thanks to everyone. We have a couple of exciting things coming up. Probably the cheapest GNU Radio conference in a while, actually, but hopefully the best. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining the call. Thanks everyone for being part of the project. And there will be another call in a month from now. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.